Okay, it's 3:50 a.m. and I thought I'd do a little video because I think sometimes I don't always, I mean, I do focus on people in my life, whether it be my girlfriend or my family or whatever. But sometimes I don't always tell people, I don't always give an accurate description of how I feel about people in my life, whether it be my family or otherwise. But to be honest, this is down to my current girlfriend. And to be honest, my future wife, the person I want to marry, ultimately. The person that means the world to me and the person that I really do love. You know? The truth of the situation is that I've, over these past 14 and a half months now that I've got to know her, got to connect with her, got to see her smile, laugh, the different mannerisms, you know, her facial expressions, every part of her is unique, you know what I mean? Every single part of her is the most unique thing in the world to me. She's like, you know, she's like a form, she's like a single speck of an atom in the universe, you know, she's a singular thing that there's only one of, you know. There's only one unique pattern of that. There's only one, you know, one in a million chance that that an atom would form to form her. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know whether I'm being poetic or whether I'm just being idiotic. Maybe it's a combination of the two. I don't know. I'm just rambling on, but. The point that I'm trying to make is that she's the most wonderful thing to happen in my life. And I'm not perfect. And she still accepts me regardless. She still accepts me. She still accepts me even though I have a few flaws. And you know, even though I make mistakes, even though I don't always follow the exact line that I expect to. The conclusion that I've come to is that she does love me, you know what I mean? And that's not, you know, I mean, you know, somebody, when it comes down to loving someone, you love them for you love them for your, when it comes down to loving a person for their faults, or loving them for their imperfections, sometimes it's the imperfections that can actually make them, or ultimately make them, it's the most wonderful thing in the world, you know? The most wonderful thing in this entire universe. They can bring them together and just form a whole, you know, a whole essence of a person, I guess? No. It's probably not the best term of voice to it can form a whole new life together, you know? You and that person can form together and you can, you know, conform to each other. You become in sync with each other, and I think at the end of it, that's probably the best example of it. I do love her, and I want the best future for her, and I want the best future for me as well. Same time, I'm still at the context that I want to look after my family as well. I want to honour my family. It's a combination of that. I want to honour my family, I want to love my family, I want to love everybody in my life. At the same time, I mean, you know, sometimes I get caught up in things, I think too much, I overthink a situation, I try to plan too far ahead because, you know, I've got a very active mind and I've got a very crazy head sometimes with some of the things, you know, just, you know, there's a whole universe spinning around in my head half the time, and knowing which direction to go, knowing which direction to follow, knowing exactly what I should and shouldn't do is not always easy for me because, particularly with some of my conditions, it's not always easy to understand some things, you know, especially when it comes to the emotional states of other human beings. But I do understand my emotional state very well, I do understand hers. I've come to know the different states that she's in. I've come to know when she's pissed off. I've come to know when she's happy. I've come to know when she feels sad. I've come to know when all she wants is a hug, at the end of it. And, well, she wants somebody to turn around. She basically wants somebody to turn around and hug her, and tell her that everything's going to be alright. And even though we are not physically together at this point in time, that's a relevant point, I should say. At this point in time, I do feel just as connected to her as if she was right here with me, sitting on the bed, holding my hand while I was talking about her and how much she meant to me and how much I love every single thing that she is as a person. It's a combination of things. At the same time, I don't want her to feel like I'm trying to push her family away or push her away from her family or anything of that nature, because I believe family is an important thing. Family is a good thing. You should never give up on your family. Love between family members, love and honour. Honouring your family, looking after your family, being with your family. Those things are important, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with looking after, yourself as well, and the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with too. At the end of it, I've come to a conclusion that, we get so caught up in things, whether it be business, money making, whatever, we get caught up in everything in our life, whether it be those things that, drive us or not, but we get caught up in those things in our life. And the truth of the situation is that we focus too much on those, and we don't focus on the loved ones around us. We don't focus a certain degree of emotional stability towards them, to give them emotional stability to a certain extent. The truth is sometimes we almost numb we almost numb our emotions as a society in general, because sometimes it's easier to deal with when we numb the emotions that we have towards others. Don't understand why, but we do it. It's just a commonality. It's just a common thing. It's commonality, especially these days. At the end, nobody is perfect, and everybody makes mistakes, but at the same time, I think everybody finds love. Everybody has an emotional mindset with some things. So. At the end, I want what's best for her, and I want what's best for me. At the same time, I want to make a future. That's really what I want to do. I want to make a future. I want to bring her over here, which I'm trying to save money at the moment, but it's going okay. But to be honest, at this point, I need to, I need to get a little more business sort of thing, combination of, to actually, to be able to get the right amount of what I want to actually get. Yeah, that's pretty much this premise. Those are pretty much what I'm going to do. But, as I said, business sometimes slows down. Things slow down. Things are not always 100 pelt, going full pelt at everything else. And, at the end of it, it happens. But, at the end, I know that I love her. And I know that we're meant to be together. I know that I feel personally connected to her. I know that it's not just one thing that connects me to her. It's several things in my own mind, Our personalities. Some things we're sort of opposite on, but some things we have a lot of similarities to each other too. But we also have the opposite factors as well. There's some things that we have similarity to each other, and there's some things that we can say, well, okay, that's opposite from each other. It's okay, that's something we can celebrate between the two of us, to be unique between us. You know, at the same side of the spectrum, you know, whether it's just the fact that she's talking about her day, smiling, you know, smiling at me, talking to me, laughing, you know. There's always a particular smile. It's like a devilish smile she gets on her face. It's always very cute. It's endearing as well. It's the most wonderful thing to see that smile on her face when she's happy. But she does have her moments where you know, life hands you lemons and you got to make lemonade, pretty much. I mean, I could say, you know, there's moments where life just turns to shit, and that's probably the truth. Life does turn to shit occasionally. That's the truth of the situation, and it's always going to be the case with life, because life does do that sometimes. But personally, I wanted to get this video recorded because it was just some of the emotions that I think she should know how I feel, because sometimes I don't always express it directly to her, because sometimes I'm a little emotionally not switched off, I'm just emotionally inward, you know, mainly because sometimes I can be a very closed off person with some ways that I get emotional, you know what I mean? And it's not always the best thing to be, you know, in those emotional states, especially in particular. The problem with that is that, you know, being closed off, it's hard to tell sometimes if somebody feels a particular way or if they don't. At the end of it, you know, talking to her every day, the way that I talk to her, the way, you know, just, as I said, like, I mean, you know, we don't spend all our time on Skype, but we do spend probably a good percentage of it. I mean, as I said, there's a large percentage of it we spend on Skype. But there's also the other factor of we spending time texting each other on Facebook, you know, things of that nature, whether it, you know, just, yeah, basically, you know, it's a conveyance of that. It's a combination of that. Then, you know, we might have a bit of time playing games on Xbox 360 or something like that. And that's always fun too. That's fun because, you know, she knows she can always laugh, she can always smile, she can always have fun. And she loves the fact that I include her in, you know, she loves the fact that I include her in that. Which, you know, that makes me feel closer to her as well. At the end, I think I just want to have her, you know, come over here, as I said, for about a month. Well, maybe, you know, depending, I mean, what she say, about 2 or 3 weeks. She said 2 to 3 weeks. So, I mean, to be honest, you know, in that time bracket, as long as we get to spend at least a week or 2 together, I'm pretty happy with that. I'd be happy with that because at least we can connect on a physical level. Now, not that I don't think, you know, I mean, not that I think there's anything wrong with, you know, not connecting on a physical level, but, you know, connecting on a physical level, it's a bit more different, you know. Plus, she gets to meet my family, sort of thing, combination of stuff, you know, things like that. But at the same time, I don't want her to feel like well, she knows that. She knows for a fact that I'm not pressuring her to do anything. It's her choice whether she wants to do it, and I know, you know, at the end of it, I'm willing to be accommodating in most cases, you know. As I said, she does mean the world to me. And there's a lot of things I love about her. It's not all, you know, I mean, it's not all one point of reference, you know. It's the fact that you can get to know each other quite well over Skype, and you can get to know each other well over time, you know, not just physical connections. Physical connections can be formed through Skype and through those types of things. Those technologies these days, it's possible to form a relationship in that context. And I mean, for some people who may turn around and argue, oh no, it's not possible to do that. Have you ever truly experienced that? I mean, you've got to consider the context of it too. I mean, you know, there's some people in this world who believe that true love can be, you know, something that it's almost like it comes into effect as, you know it's there. As I said, there's people who believe in true love, and there's people who don't. I'm one of those people. I admit, in context, I'm a hopeless romantic. Perhaps my fault. Well, I wouldn't call it a fault. I'd just call it, you know, just the way my system and the way my mind works. I am a hopeless romantic at the heart, and I wouldn't have myself in the way. But at the end of it, I want to be able to say that, you know, I don't know, just lost my train of thought. But look, at the end of it, I know I love her. I don't want her to force her to. Well, as I said, I've never forced her to do anything. She makes her own decisions. She is her own independent woman. That's another thing I love about her too. She's strong, independent, self-reliant, and she has a good heart. The problem with her having a good heart, though, is sometimes that people have taken advantage of that. And for that, I'm sad that I wasn't there to help her through that when she was taken advantage of. But now I'm here. So at the end, at least I can say I'm here now, and at least I can say that I'm here to give her a hug and tell her that everything will be okay. For all the people who do believe that it's not possible, it's impossible to connect over a camera, or not through sounds and things like that. Look, I'm sorry, I may be a hopeless romantic, but I do believe it is possible to connect over those types of things. It's not impossible. I'm a man who believes... I believe in the context of science, but I also believe that there are some things in this universe we can't exactly explain. I don't know whether I classify it as God. I mean, I'm not saying it's God, but it's a force in the universe that we can't quite explain, can't quite grasp the concept of. Perhaps it's something that we will work out towards the future, but I mean, maybe it's something that's just a mystery entirely of the universe itself. You know, yeah, that's just something I feel personally. If the universe is made up of this mystery, or these mysteries that we can't solve, then who's to say that true love can't be given over a camera or halfway around the world? I think personally it's totally possible for someone to fall in love with someone on the other side of the world. Definitely have. Sometimes I may not have acted like that, or it may have come off as brushed, or I just brush things off. But it's only because sometimes I have been hurt myself in the past with some things when it comes to love. So I'm always a cautious heart. But these days I'm more open to the concept of things. But I also believe that. Knowing her, getting to know her over it's probably almost 13, 15, it's pretty much 14 and a half months, so it will probably almost be 15 months now that I've got to know her. I've got to understand her routine. We fall asleep on Skype together, I know her routine, she wakes up every morning, and takes King out, which King, to be honest, He's a wonderful dog as well. I've seen the traits of King's personality as well, and also her cat. She's very loving towards her animals. Now, somebody who's a good person, you know, somebody who's a bad person wouldn't be as loving as she is to those two animals. She treats those two animals like they're her kids. You know, and she loves them to bits. She absolutely loves them. And I know she'd be very sad if anything ever happened to her. And, you know, to be honest, as I said, I can understand that, because she does, you know, she loves King because he's a loyal pet. He's a loving, I mean, well, you know what it is, the context. Dogs always give you unconditional love. It's always the context, so, you know. And King has got his own character as well. He's got his own facial expression, the way he does things, you know. The fact that he'll be whinging and moaning because he hasn't been let out to, you know, to go to the toilet or something, you know, in the morning, or, you know, some silly factor. It's like, he wants to go out and run around, you know, because he's just he doesn't go outside that often to run around, you know, but. Then she's got her cat, which she can hold like a baby. Which she can rock it like a little baby. It's hilarious. I can always see a lot of things in it. I can see a lot of things in Erin, and those things are a nurturing nature, a wonderful, kind heart that obviously has never given up on trying to find love and find things for herself, and wanting happiness. And that's the reason I love her. That's the reason that she means to the universe, and that's the reason I will protect her, because I love her. It's just the fact that I love her, but, you know, she's formed a part of me. She's formed a part of my personality. She's become a daily routine for me, and that's to say a lot. Especially for somebody with Asperger's and a few of the conditions that I have. She's become a daily routine, and when somebody becomes a daily routine, that is that feels right, you know. I mean, it doesn't feel like a wrong routine. It doesn't feel like it's something that's forced. It feels like something that's natural. It should be that. It should be that way. You know? I've been talking for like 23 minutes. But, yeah. I just thought I'd use those, just, you know, descriptive words as best I possibly could. I mean, I know it's 4:13 a.m., but I just had to get it out of my head anyway, because if I didn't get it out of my head, I wouldn't feel right. And on top of that, it also is something, now giving back to Erin too, because I think sometimes she may think, I mean, I'm not saying she does. She probably doesn't. It's probably just my own stupid thoughts in my head that she might think that I take her for granted, but I don't take her for granted. I don't at all. I don't take her for granted at all. I love her dearly, immensely, in fact. I can't imagine a world without her. So I'm going to leave it there anyway. Well, this is sort of I'm probably going to put this on YouTube, because I want to share it on my channel anyway. So thank you very much, YouTube. Subscribe to me on such services as you like to subscribe to me on. And yeah, sorry, it's a little in-depth thing in my personal life, but yeah, it's alright. Okay, thank you very much, YouTube and Facebook, which I'll probably end up putting this on Facebook, to be honest, too. So, thank you very much, Facebook, thank you very much, YouTube, and stay tuned, as always. And whoever sees this family or otherwise, just know that I do mean what I say. Bye.